You know, because we were basically talking about the aspect of this system and how it's ran off the monetary perspective of high consumers and then an extreme labor force. And at one time before the woman was working, it was the man that dictated what was consumed and what was bought. Whatever she needed, he sat down and said, okay, you know what? We do need this. Or he sat down and said, okay, this makes you happy? Then I'm going to go and get it. But now, because she has so much career power and so much labor force aspect to where she is the monetary gainer, she just goes out and buy the most ridiculous shit. Like we said, a fucking Tweety Bird case for like $30, $40, $50. A fucking, a fucking bejeweled, I don't know, cup holder, like stupid shit. The shit I be seeing a lot of women buy is the most ridiculous shit I've ever seen in my life. And once again, when the masculine man was the so-called breadwinner, for lack of a better word, everything he purchased was of a practical aspect. And if for some strange reason it seemed overpriced, he didn't save up to get it. He just figured out a way to go without it. And this is why it's so important to feminize the man, because now the man has become another form of consumer. But see, it's part of the woman's nature to want and need everything. So therefore, even when she's masculinized, she's still a high consumer simultaneously. You see what I'm saying? So they work that beautifully, boy. They work that shit beautifully. Because now you got double the consuming, double the tax rate, double the workforce to a certain extent, because a lot of these niggas don't got jobs anyway, but you know what I'm saying? You're doubling everything, which if we do the history and we look at the Rockefeller Foundation, who started the feminist movement in the first place, if we do our research, we'll know that the main purpose... They funded it. Huh? They funded it. But at the end of the day...
Gloria Steinem was the one who...
Yeah, but Gloria Steinem, who was she hired by? She's a CIA agent. So she had to be hired to institute that. Not only that, Gloria Steinem practiced that in, if I believe, in Europe, around college students, where she mastered that art of cultivating the people to be against a certain form of system, and then they brought her into America. So she was mastering this shit for decades. She was raised, as a matter of fact, since you brought up Gloria Steinem, because I did a whole breakdown of this shit, she was neglected by her father. She was abused by her father. And she was raised in the agency, because she entered the FBI agency around her early 20s. Yeah, so she already had an indoctrinated aspect to her to make sure that she was involved with a system that broke down the structure of the family, because her family was already destroyed anyway. And then, as we already know, the recessive, or the white man, or the white female, or whatever we want to call them, when they feel any sort of pain or hurt or anguish, they want to take out the world. It's just like a recessive that gets a grade on their report card, and then they can't get their skateboard. They shoot up the whole fucking school. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? And kill their mother, because they're a genocidal creature. See, we're not, no matter how mad you make us, we don't take out whole groups of people, and we never have done it either. And we've had the opportunity to do it numerous times. And I could go into all different perspectives of history where we could have did that, but we still did not, because it's just not in our nature. The true human being of earth is not genocidal by nature. The true animals and creatures that walk this earth are not genocidal by nature. The lion doesn't try to wipe out the zebra. The lion eats one zebra at a time. You see what I'm saying? It doesn't try to kill all of the zebras, because it's not genocidal. It's a predator. It preys on what it needs to survive, but it keeps the rest alive. Not only that, it doesn't destroy the habitat of the zebra either. It allows the zebra to coincide and live with it, and only attack the zebra on times of feeding. See, this is the rhythm of the planet. This is the rhythm of things that are of the earth. That's how you know that this recessive is not of the earth, because they're never in rhythm with it. And they can never feel things within it. They can't understand it.
Yeah, just like the billionaire CEOs and all that who be like dumping shit into the water.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, yo, you fucking up the environment that you're trying to take over. Like, why would you fuck up a planet you trying to take over? Like,
well, here's the thing. You forgetting.
They're not, they have no feelings.
Not only that, but remember, the CEO is just one individual. He doesn't give a fuck what his workers drink. He doesn't give a fuck what the laborers drink. See, you're thinking in a real human perspective. You're going, well, wait a second. Let me think logically. If I fuck up all the oceans, then what are we all going to drink? You see? He's going, I got a billion gallon water tank in my mansion. I don't need ocean water. You see what I'm saying? They go, I live on an island. where I got all the freshest fruits in the world. Fuck the earth. You see what I'm saying?
Niggas like I got underground.
Yeah, like you know,
underground
they got
tunnels.
underground cities. They are prepared for the demise of the planet because they know they're genocidal. Genocide is in many levels in different forms. Genocide is not just killing people. Genocide is destroying a whole rainforest. Genocide is destroying the ecosystem. Genocide is wiping out an entire species till they're extinct. That's genocide. Nobody could show me any time in history where we have ever committed genocide against any creature or any being on this planet. And I dare anybody to try to show me that.
And it's so crazy too, because I mean, I know myself. I'm a little bit more empathetic than the average dude or whatever.
Yeah.
But still, for me, just like that cliche. What is it? What's the purpose of a man gain the world but loses whatever? I don't know. Consciousness or something.
Okay.
But anyway, it's like my whole point is, how do you live with yourself? You know what I'm saying?
Oh, but see,
You know
you
what I
talking
mean?
about integrity, brother.
And it's just like, because I've done a lot of shit that I regret in my past, and you know, there's certain shit I had to reason with myself, like whatever, I don't care, it's over with. Like I'm not gonna feel guilty because it's only gonna kill me. But I'm like, when you wiping out, or when you create medicines, or you creating circumstances, when you wiping out like millions of motherfuckers, like how do you even enjoy your millions of dollars in your house? Like when you because this it has to be a burden that comes with that.
Well,
how do you enjoy being on a yacht when you know you killed like 20 motherfuckers? Let's say you killed like 20 niggas and stole his yacht. Like how do you enjoy that yacht like without constantly looking over your shoulders? And I mean that figuratively, like within your conscience. Like your conscience is looking behind, like oh shit. You know what I'm saying? Like where's the? It has to be a level of remorse in everybody. I think. Like I don't understand like certain motherfuckers and how they do something like on a wide. Like I would feel bad if I stole from somebody. You know what I'm saying? Like. You know, like a lot of money. I mean, like not like a couple dollars or some shit I found on the street or something. But these niggas be like killing people like indirectly, or you know, and they find ways to enjoy, you know, the fruits of their labor or fruits of other people's labor and stuff like that, and they continue and perpetually do it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's what socialism is about. It's like, all right, let me give back because of all the fucked up shit I did. Maybe that's what philanthropy, aside from tax breaks and shit, is for. Like, let me just give back because I think a lot of motherfuckers do have consciousness because after a while they realize, oh shit, like, and they have all these charities and shit. You know what I'm saying? But
honestly, bro, the answer to that question is a two-part question. One comes from a human answer. The other comes from a non-human answer. The non-human answer is what you're talking about is integrity. That's what you're talking about. You're talking about how can they do this and not feel this and not feel that. It's very easy, motherfucker. They don't have no integrity. It's very easy to not have remorse when you don't have a soul, when you don't have integrity. Therefore, you do not feel the pain of others. You do not feel empathy. Empathy is an internal aspect. If you notice, the recessive needs to feel the physical. If they don't feel the physical, it does not exist. It does not exist. And empathy is not physical. Empathy is an internal energy. So therefore, that's answer number one. Answer number two is figuring out self-justification. Because now you go, we're going to wipe out this whole group of people because they're infidels. Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
That's true.
So now you created a mental justification in your mind that creates some type of pride or patriarchy to justify genocide. Because when I send my motherfucking fake ass American ass to Afghanistan to wipe out some brown people, my justification is my patriarchy to protect my country as I'm invading somebody else's shit.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
As if that little kid on the street
that
you blew his head off, he was the one who came to 9/11, right? He was the one.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah, he blew up my towers. Towers.
All right, to combat what you're saying, though, that's why a lot of soldiers come back with PTSD.
Absolutely.
They can't live with themselves.
Because their integrity fucks with them. You know why? Because the whole time they was on this soil before they went to war on some other man's land, they were told deceptive aspects to make them feel some type of obligation to fight for this country. Here's the problem. When they went over there and saw these brown children face to face, when they went over there and saw the mud huts, when they went over there and saw them niggas had nothing, when they went over there and saw niggas was throwing rocks at them, and they like, wait a second, we got M16s, we got mortars, we got rockets, we got all this shit, and these niggas is throwing rocks at us. And we talking about we're protecting America from this? And then they come back fucked up. And I know because I got a lot of soldier customers that don't even like to talk about certain things because
one was there one time and
it
got a little awkward.
because they don't like to talk. They either if they talk about it, they create their own illusion. Well, it's dangerous out there, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You never know who's who. Kind of like
They
cops.
downplay it.
Yeah, kind of like cops. They go, well, it's a dangerous job, and you're always on edge, and that. You know what I'm saying? But yet you shoot an 11-year-old boy in his backyard. You know what I'm saying? So cut that bullshit. But it's a form of justification. And if you have a soul, no matter how much you try to justify something, once you actually witness the symbolism and the energy, you can't hide it no more. So now you come back internally fucked up because you're having this internal fight with your so-called country. Because remember, even though you've witnessed things while you were going to war, it still didn't bring you into knowledge of self. You're only dealing with the fact that you've just murdered people who don't have the means to murder you.
Exactly.
So that's what's fucking with you. It's your humanity that's fucking with you. It's not like you said, it's not like you went over there and learned that you're the original man or some shit. Ain't got nothing to do with that.
Exactly.
You still think you're an American. You still think you're being patriotic. But now you're like, holy shit, we just killed children. I just watched you know how many dudes I've had sat in my chair tell me that they play lookout while soldiers rape fucking daughters and shit like that? Yeah. Because the mothers will try to give up their children to save their lives. Yep. And so they'll just sit there and fuck them. Now, just because the mother's giving up her child, you're still raping the child. So they think because the mother's saying, here, take my daughter, that it's not the same as rape.
And the crazy thing is that them niggas who do that crazy shit, killing kids, raping niggas' wives and all that shit, it's like they're not even that. A lot of them niggas, they're not really crazy. They just have to put themselves in that mind frame to do what they have to do.
And not only that,
then when they come back to your point, when they come back and try to be a regular person and go to church every day, they can't look at themselves in the mirror.
Not only that, you got to remember, once you join these factions, once you join these groups,
a lot of drugs and shit too.
Yes, once you join these factions and you join these groups, you have this unspoken obligation. Excuse me, not even unspoken. It's very well spoken. You have this obligation to look at every person wearing that uniform as your direct brother. So guess what? You can't snitch on them now. You can't judge them for raping the enemy, right? Because that's the enemy, right? Allegedly, so now you have to hold this fake obligation inside of yourself because you will be what they call it, black-walled or blackballed or whatever, as somebody who's going against. You know what I'm saying? Same thing cops do. You're going to go against another cop. You know what I'm saying, nigga? If I wasn't wearing this uniform, you shoot my black ass 17 times too. So I got to keep my badge on 24/7 so your white ass don't kill me when I'm off duty. So don't give me shit about brotherhood. So there's a lot of dynamics that go into this stuff, and they know the science of it. That's why they play it into you. They play patriotism into you, even though no motherfucker has ever invaded this soil ever in the history of America. The only person that ever invaded this soil was the fucking European. No Afghani invaded this soil. Nobody invaded the soil. You see what I'm saying? So what are you talking about that you're protecting America from what? Everything that's happened on this soil has been in a civil aspect, or excuse me, not even civil because I'm using that word wrong, in a domestic aspect, us against ourselves.
And even if the narrative, let's say, was true that these Afghanistani people or these Pakistani people or these Muslims or whatever came over here to fuck shit up. They doing it as a result of what y'all did to them.
Exactly. And it's called retaliation. The same way that you think you're going to their country to fuck them up because they hit the towers. That isn't that what you think you're doing? So you're talking about retaliation. So don't they have the right to retaliate for their land and their people? What makes their retaliation wrong compared to yours? You see, what makes me as a Christian slaughtering Muslims different from a Muslim slaughtering Christians? It's retarded, bro.
That's the whole thing. Even if the Muslims did hit 9/11, what's the point of going over there to kill them? Because it's not like you're going to kill all of them anyway. Because the kids who you allegedly aren't killing, you're just killing allegedly the soldiers or whatever. The kids are going to get trained to hate you, and it's going to be the same thing over back and forth. So where does the buck stop?
Bottom line, war is a multiple aspect of business, resources, and land. War is one of the most, I hate to say it, but it's one of the most lucrative businesses depending on the individual who's invested in it. Because you get to supply each side with weaponry, figure out who's going to kill each other or wipe each other out, whether it's one kills the other or both kill each other, and then guess what? You collect the resources in the land. On one spectrum of the side, it's a beautiful fucking thing for the individual who's invested in it. On the other spectrum of the side, you're destroying the earth, you're committing genocide, you're destroying the atmosphere. Because every time you let off a nuclear aspect, every time you let off a dynamic within nature and within the environment that has a negative chemical reaction, you're destroying the atmosphere. You see what I'm saying? You're destroying the soil. You're depleting all the nutrients of the earth because you want to commit genocide against another group of people who don't believe what you believe. So,
That's true. I never even thought about that part of it too.
Yeah.
When they have war and they setting off IUDs.
everything.
Like you're destroying the land.
Everything.
Right?
You're destroying the land and the air.
Yeah. Exactly.
And the air.
Especially
And the air.
Yeah.
The land, the air, the water. Because remember, everything is connected and everything. See, this is what the recessive doesn't understand. They don't understand everything's connected.
You got 9/11. You know, America orchestrated that on one level or another. But look how many of your own people, your firefighters and your cops got
all fucked up.
Yeah,
all fucked up.
It's like
can't breathe, lung problem, all type of shit.
It's like how much money,
all type of shit,
and how much power do you need? Because
not only that,
you can't even enjoy this shit once you gone anyway.
Not only that, we also forgetting the absolute fact that area for at least the next 50 years is full with radiation.
Yeah.
Full with radiation. And while everybody's walking downtown, right around that little, what they call it, ground zero, right around that little shit, they being radiated every day, don't even realize it. And not going to see the effects of that radiation until 10 years down the line. And then what they going to call it, oh, you're under stress. Oh, you got cancer. It's a lot of stress in your life. It's bullshit, man.
And they stupid because, well, I can't say they stupid, but to me it's stupid because now you got all these lawsuits. Like, I mean, I don't know.
But that's a business too.
That's true.
See, remember, you're forgetting. They own every level of business you can imagine.
That's true.
They own the lawsuit business and the lawyers and the courts that you got to go to sue. They own the judges that give you the case or that close the case. They own the pharmaceutical that got to treat your ailment. You see what I'm saying? They own the motherfucking funeral home that's going to bury your ass. Yeah. Everything it goes back to the connection of the recessive. That's why the only way to stop it is for you to completely separate yourself and detach that cord, that IV.
You should be able to die for free, man.
Bruh, you should be able to live for free and die for free. The only thing you should be paying for.
The church should pay for niggas' funerals, bro.
Only thing you should be paying for is your personal egotistical aspects. You want some nice clothes, pay for that shit. Yeah. You want a nice car, pay for that shit. You see, you want a nice house, pay for that shit. You see what I'm saying? But as far as your health should be free. Your children's education, that shit should be free. That's why you don't live in a country, you live in a corporation. And we need to understand this. America is a motherfucking corporation. It's not a country. It's a corporation owned by Great Britain. And all my Moors know that. They big on that bullshit, but at the end of the day, it's a fact.
Yeah.
It's an absolute fact. And we gotta start looking at America as a corporation. Because guess what? If we look at America as a corporation, we'll stop getting upset when morals are not involved. Because I notice a lot of people get upset.
That's true.
They're always looking for justice from a corporation. You can't look for justice from a corporation. They're not about justice, they're about revenue. You see what I'm saying? So if you look at America as a corporation instead of a country, you'll stop getting upset about it.
Yeah. Now I understand. I just come from trying to understand perspective, because I'm like, even those same motherfuckers who out there doing whatever they got to do to get money and looking at it as through a business lens, I'm like, how do they go home and look at their family and sleep at night?
Justification. Once again, we back to justification. I'm working hard. I'm paying isn't this what we say? I'm a tax-paying American.
Yeah.
I'm a tax-paying citizen. Those words are supposed to neutralize everything.
I'm a war veteran.
I'm a war veteran. All of those things are supposed to neutralize.
Killing a bunch of people.
Don't matter. All those things are supposed to neutralize everything when you say it. And who has indoctrinated these lines into us? Because you wasn't saying I'm a tax-paying citizen in 1928. You wasn't saying that shit. You wasn't saying I'm a tax-paying citizen when you was 1865 emancipated, years after that. You wasn't talking that shit. That shit was indoctrinated into you after your integration. You see what I'm saying? And you started talking like white people. I'm a Christian tax-paying white man. How dare you? White people used to talk like that all the time. You're going to do this to a Christian white man? Yeah, I'm telling you, man. We got to study the history. We got to look at things for what they actually are, not calling them what we're told to call it. We're told to call this country America, not realizing this bitch got 3 different names. America, United States of America, USA. All of those are different names. When I say United States of America, I'm using a conjunction word to combine 2 different fucking things. So United States and America are 2 different entities. Why do I gotta say of? Guess what I say of? I am the son of my mother. My mother is a different being. I'm a different being from my mother, but I am her son, therefore I'm of my mother. So guess what? The United States is of the corporation of America. So those are 2 different entities, and we're not looking at it correctly. We're not using intelligence when we hear these words. You don't have to study this shit, just use intelligence. Why are they saying United States of America? Why are they saying that? Anybody with intelligence will listen to that and say, well, wait a second, why they gotta use of? Because of is a conjunction word. It puts two words together.
That's true. I didn't even think about it that way.
Intelligence, brother. This is why I'm talking about using intelligence all the time. Intelligence. Observation. That shit goes beyond any book, goes beyond any master teacher. And the thing that I really want people to understand is everybody's always asking me about book lists and best books and this. Understand the book came from intelligence and observation.
Yeah, exactly.
Book didn't come before the man. Man came before the book. You see what I'm saying? We had to observe the stars. We had to observe nature. We had to observe man and woman in order to write down and record the functions, the nature, and the attributes of all those things that got accumulated into records and that got turned into books. So all you got to do is go back to the source, and the source is using your eyes and using your brain.
That's a fact.
Yeah, go back to the source. Source over surface. I'm always talking about that. Source over surface. Truth doesn't have different versions. And that's what people need to understand. Like when I be on the IG or when I follow certain so-called, I don't even know what to call them. I guess they call them influencers today. Yeah. Like the so-called conscious people that got like 50,000 followers or whatever. Mm-hmm. Them motherfuckers do not keep one directional aspect to their teaching. It changes up here and there. Perfect example, so-called Polite. I don't even like dropping names, but whatever. Yeah. But when I first started listening to him years ago, when he wasn't as huge as he is now, the white man is the devil. The white man is the devil. La, 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 la. We cannot blame the white man for our circumstance. The black man has to take responsibility. You can't blame it. I'm like, wait a second, nigga. You started your whole campaign off the white man is the devil. You see what I'm saying? Stick with what you sticking with. You know what I mean? Because if it's truth, it's truth. You can't deny it. So,
but his defense would be that, you know, it's growth. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, it's growth. But don't say the exact opposite of what you said 10 years ago. And if you're gonna do that, at least gradually allow me to see where you're going with it from one spectrum to the next. Yeah. Don't just jump out the way and say it's our fault. You see what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, the source is over the surface. What we see now at our ignorance, at our so-called black on black crime, whatever the hell you want to call that, at our so-called broken families, these are results of a source. That's not who we are. Exactly. You see what I'm saying? So you can't just say this and this and that. Don't get me wrong. It's our fault for keeping it in place. Yeah. But it's not our fault for it being here. Exactly. There's a difference.
And that's the problem with a bunch of black people when they're successful. They act like, you know, they act brand new all of a sudden. Like, you know what I mean? Like the rest of black people are just lazy and just, oh, look at me, I made it. So you can do the same thing too. But your circumstances might have been a little better. Maybe you're more ambitious.
Again,
you know, maybe somebody gave you. Everybody needs help. You know what I'm saying?
Let's be honest.
You didn't get there by
How
yourself.
did they become successful? Did they become successful by joining a European organization acting African?
No.
Did they become successful by working hard in a Fortune 500 company, working their way up, acting African?
No.
Or did they fall in line with the European perspective and standard of dressing like a European, looking like a European, thinking like a European, speaking like a European, and kissing European ass to get up to a level where they deem themselves successful?
That last part is the most important part.
You see what I'm saying?
I noticed the niggas who kiss ass, and you got to think about it. It makes sense even though it's not right, but...
Yeah.
Listen. What's good? If I own a business, like, I'm gonna hire somebody who I can control. You know what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
And that's just
why would you hire somebody you can't control? Don't you want to control your business?
Exactly, because that person might be.
You gotta fire T, because you know T uncontrollable. You know what I'm saying? Niggas don't come to work on time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
fuck the business up. I got
talking about. Besides those last 2 days, which I actually had something to do. I actually had something to do.
But yeah, that's the thing. You know, you don't want to hire somebody who's like a threat.
Exactly.
You know
Exactly.
You know, I noticed that a lot too. Even like when a chick has a position of authority, like she'll hire a secretary who's uglier than her. Like she's not gonna hire like some bad chick. You know what I mean? Everything's about competition.
Absolutely. Everything has a formula. Everything has a form of equation to make it work properly, or most efficiently. Yeah. You can make something work, but to make it work at its most efficient capacity, you have to have a formula in place, and that formula has to be strict. So I have to make sure, and see, proving my point again, with those so-called successful black people. What did they have to do? Cut all their hair off, cut their beard off, come in there with a European suit. They couldn't represent anything in any aspect cultural to who they are because that would deem them unworthy of the job and make them a threat due to the symbolism that they project that superior does not want to see. So automatically, even before they get the job, they have to sacrifice everything of themselves that makes them what they are. And off the bat, you get no respect from me from that. So I don't give a fuck if you're a millionaire now. You don't get no respect from me from that. You see what I'm saying?
Yep.
That's like you reaching the top by trying to play a woman on TV so you could get famous now. Nigga, you sacrificed your manhood so you could be famous. To me, my manhood.
I hate when niggas do shit like that, man.
To me, my manhood is more priceless than anything.
Yeah.
More priceless than anything.
Just for a couple
Anything.
dollars. Like, what the
Anything. Because if you willing to project the energy of a feminine aspect, then what's the next level after that? You see what I'm saying? Everything is levels. So once I see that you're able to sacrifice that part of yourself, which makes you a man, what's the next level after that? Are you going to partake in physical activities now? You see, which a lot of these brothers is doing behind closed doors that are very famous brothers. You see what I'm saying? So, you know, they know what they're doing.
They have no boundaries, man. They do everything.
Yeah.
And that's why they make that's why they make money so important, so they can use it against us. You know what I'm
Exactly.
saying? It's like, oh, if you need this money, so the only way I'm gonna give it to you is if you sacrifice who you are, so I can feel better about myself. I can control you, you know.